Hi everyone, it's Linda G, and I'm with your favorite Sterling. How are
Good
you
morning,
doing,
everybody.
Sterling?
In Linda Land, good morning.
In Linda Land. Your coloring is really good.
Yeah, it's amazing when your heart rate doubles, things get a little bit better, right?
Do you feel a little bit more amped?
Incrementally, yeah. So every day that goes by, incrementally, you notice a difference. Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just so glad. Him and I were just talking, if we go, we go. Because we've seen the other side.
Yeah, no, I wasn't afraid at all, as you and I have talked. I just very concerned about the living, my wife, making sure
Yeah.
everything was okay for her. I don't want to leave her with a lot of things. So, yeah, that bigger
Um,
concern.
that surrender really brings you closer to God, I'll tell you that much.
Hmm. Well, I
And
tell
like even the cancer, when they told me, there's no such thing as death. And I gave I surrendered. And I said, fair enough. I wanted to stay for my boys because they were still young. But something happened to me. And in that surrender, I found a peace that was beyond anything I would have known had I not had cancer.
Yeah, that's a gift, and you put that on your life path. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Kind of wake you up and remind you. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Linda. She went through these questions and we got magnificent questions. I was looking at them. I just can't wait. Okay, here we go.
Oh,
Here we go.
great, great.
Okay. Not Danny DeVito, that guy, Pesci, Joe Pesci. Okay. Remember when he does that all the time? Okay. What do you see as a long-term outcome for peace in the Middle East, including the recent Iran and Israel conflict? In addition, does Iran still have nuclear deposits and materials?
Overall, I feel very cautiously optimistic from what I'm getting from my team that there's going to be a bit of, I'm going to call it volley back and forth of rockets and things here and there. But by and large, the Middle East, it looks like they're coming together to try to stabilize the Middle East because nobody wants an all-out conflict. And I still see Qatar playing an important role, but behind the scenes, even trading money back and forth to try to motivate people to come to the table. So it's something about protecting of resources in the Middle East, stabilizing it. By and large, it looks like you're going to try to get to more of a stable here. Now, Middle East is going to be volatile for decades to come. It's just the way it is. A lot of volatility there.
Right.
But I do see a stabilizing of what's going on in the Middle East here. So a lot of peace talks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And by the way, the other question that was asked there, enriched uranium with Iran and the whole buster bomb thing that was going on with the US. I see that they actually set the program back by a good year, two or three. They set the program back. But everybody's going to have to come back to the table again and figure this all out because
Yeah.
you see a big deposit there they couldn't get to because it was too deep beneath the ground. So.
Okay. What is SCOTUS understanding about the world's view and the US now if terms in terms of their view of the No Kings protests? Is he even looking at that?
I do see that it moderates their thought, their dialogue, their negotiation behind the scenes. It does moderate it a bit, so that they're not so quick in a flash mode just to kind of make like arbitrary decisions on behalf of 45. I do see that. It's moderating some of the decisions. Not in spite of that 6-3 decision that just came down that kind of minimized the ability of the 35 district courts to stop 45's executive orders.
Yeah.
But what I do see is that in an odd way, they gave everybody an out because now you can actually still legally challenge it on a regional basis. So like 35 different districts. So one judge can't stop the whole thing, but now you have to do it regionally, locally, one by one. So there's still an out there. So in a weird way, it looks like the Supreme Court's trying to moderate their rulings. Yeah.
Yeah, well, someone did bring up the fact that they've had rulings about like Biden
Hmm.
that do not hand them anything. But when Trump wants something, they say yes.
Right. Yeah. No, I know. I mean, 6-3 is certainly a majority, right? So, yeah.
Okay, well, the House Reconciliation Bill, also referenced as the Big Billionaire Bill, passed Congress by the July 4th. If it does, will this negatively affect the GOP?
I'll answer the latter portion first. I absolutely see it as we get up to the midterms affecting the GOP, especially
Absolutely.
the whole Medicare debacle is going to be a gift for Democrats. Notwithstanding food prices didn't come down, and there's still taxes on Social Security, all kinds of things going on there. But it looks like there's going to be more modification of the reconciliation bill still going forward, and it looks like it just might go over the finish line by the time we get to July 4th. But I see more modification coming.
Okay. But yes, when
Yeah.
loved ones, especially in the red states, are out on the street or have no place to send their grandma or grandpa, you don't, they're not going to be voting for him. A lot of people
Yeah.
are already mad, but
And by the way, oh, go ahead.
he doesn't see that. He doesn't see how badly he's hated. He thinks everybody loves him.
Yeah, I was just going to say also, thank goodness for the Robert Byrd bill of like 2000, which allowed them to kind of separate out all the stuff they crammed into that reconciliation bill that was
Oh,
unrelated, like the Bureau of Land Management, to sell off public
that got
lands. And
taken out. Yep.
yeah, well, a lot of things got taken out due to the Robert Byrd bill of 2000,
Good.
Senator Robert Byrd. So good for him. Yeah, I mean, that
Good for
it
him.
helped, you know.
Will the truth about 2024 election be revealed?
It's already starting to be revealed all around the world, not just, with the ICC and NATO, but also with Anonymous has started to leak out things. We've seen Elon kind of
Yeah.
open his mouth. It's all coming out. It's going to reach a firestorm critical mass as we get into summer. Now we're already kind of in June now, but it's going to reach a firestorm.
Oh, good. And so
Yeah.
the fact everybody's saying you're not for real really deters him from being able to act like a king.
Well, when you go to like New York and there's going to be other audits done, right, by other states where
Oh
they were
yeah,
highly Democratic, but Kamala got zero votes.
that was
How
ridiculous.
do you explain that? So
Well, Elon was part of that.
of course, that was a satellite services company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will John Ossoff be reelected for a Senate seat in the 2026 midterms in Georgia?
It looks to me like he will be reelected. It's almost like a football player running down the field and not getting tackled. It looks like he runs pretty well,
Good.
figuratively speaking. It looks like he's taking a pretty good approach to kind of going after Project 2025 initiatives and
Good.
architects. So he's like a football player running down the field, like a running back or something here. But yeah, it looks like he makes it.
Yeah, and the other thing, what helps all of them is what they're doing now.
Hmm.
When this thing goes through, I don't care who it is. Most middle class people are going to say no.
Right, right.
Okay, 45 and DOJ are suing all federal judges in Maryland because they're not letting him treat immigrants the way he wants. 45 believes immigrants don't deserve due process and wants to send him to any country he desires. Will this plan be successful?
I still seeing it fought back and forth within the courts. So 45 is going to have some success short term with being able to override that. But then I see it coming back as we get into the latter part of 2025 here. So that's not going to go away because it's guaranteed in the Constitution. And by the way, that's a firewall 45 is going to run into is he's trying to do a lot of things via like executive order that are in the Constitution. You can't do that. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's kind. So
Well, the what is it? Birthrights, citizenship.
it's
That's in
another
the
one.
Constitution.
It's another one, right?
But
It's-
what was the Supreme Court doing with, or yeah, what was the Supreme Court doing with that? I don't get it.
Uh, did they rule on that directly? I don't think they did.
It's there's some they're ruling on we're going to rule on the merits of it like in October of the next session.
When they reconvene, yeah.
Yeah,
But I still see it's coming back to the Constitution, and they won't be able to override it.
I
Yeah.
just not even
Um,
Amy Comey. What does it mean when individuals do not see our galactic ET friends in various spacecraft?
that's just a timing thing. When full revelation comes and full disclosure, we're on top of that right now. It's already starting worldwide. Everybody will experience it. So it's just a timing thing,
Okay.
really.
What caused 128 Democrats to vote no on impeachment?
I see that they like caucused behind the scenes and said this isn't the right timing to do it.
That's what
Like
I was feeling too.
there's other things coming down like this reconciliation bill that's going to tank them. And so like let's keep the messaging clear. Like this is not the right timing, but there will be right timing. So
Because if they were really no, but the Republicans wouldn't have voted for it.
correct, correct.
Will the will of the people overturn the Iranian regime?
You know, a difficult situation, but every time I've read on this, I still see it's about a decade before the whole regime really tanks and gets traded out. So
Okay,
even if they topple some of the leadership, the people coming up behind are still going to
they're
replace.
still the same way.
It's the same. And I know this question gets asked a number of times regarding women, but I see a lot of feminine energy coming in within a decade into
Okay,
Iran. So it's a little bit of a difficult decade. Yeah.
right. Scientists in Japan are examining using CRISPR technology to after chromosomal structure. Oh, to alter chromosomal
Chromosomal. Yeah.
structure, especially for Down syndromes studies. Do you see this developing and put into practice?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, this is one of those like gene editing things that's going to have a breakthrough over the next 8 to 10 years here. But, you know, I'm not a doctor, I always have to say that, but there's specific chromosomes that get identified with each of the ailments of humanity. And I think it's like 21 that causes Down syndrome. So are we making progress around chromosome 21? Yeah, it's coming. It's all coming.
Okay, what actually occurred at the NATO meeting? How did everyone feel about 45 being there?
I get immediately they handle them with kid gloves because they knew it's like you got like a whack job on your hands and somebody that's a dangerous kind of a whack job. And they also believe that his time's limited.
I
So
think
we're
so
not
too.
going to negotiate any long-term deals, take this all seriously. Like we know he's not going to be there, you know, for extended number of years. Like let's not waste our time. Let's just be very careful here. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were even showing behind the scenes stuff where they posed for a picture. Then when everybody could move about freely, there was the big wigs and stuff all gathering together, Zelensky, and they were all talking with their backs to Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he hates that. Well, the group of migrants from Myanmar, Vietnam, Laos, Mexico, and Cuba that were reportedly placed on a deportation flight to South Sudan, despite a court order barring such deportations to third world countries, without due process, be returned. This action led to a legal challenge with lawyers arguing the deportation violated a judge's order and potentially endangered the migrants due to the ongoing conflict and instability in South Sudan.
Well, this is one of those situations that's going to be a little difficult for the next few months here as we get out towards the end of the year. Then it's going to turn around and you're going to start to see people trickle back. They're going to start bringing people
Right.
back. So it won't be a massive airlift. You know, if you're looking for bringing back, you know, everybody all at once, it's going to be a lot of flights bringing people back incrementally. Yeah.
And it's because he loses control, Trump.
He will. He'll lose control, and then a lot of his supporters are going to jump ship because they're saying this is a burning ship. We got to get off the ship, you know. So,
We've talked about this before many years back.
right, right.
Will Elon leak more negative information about 45?
I just got immediately July, August timeframe because something about his SpaceX contracts come into play. I don't know what's going on here, but it's almost like maybe NASA tries to get in there and tries to take away some of the SpaceX contracts. There's something going on here where Elon feels slighted and he goes, and so he gets hurt and then he starts yakking it
Oh,
up.
really? Maybe even
Yeah.
say, I helped fix the whole thing. But he's right now, he's talking about this budget's going to ruin America.
Yeah. Yeah. He hasn't.
He's posting it. And you know how Trump is, he makes you pay.
Well, and I do feel that they're holding the SpaceX contracts over his head too, and
I do
say
too.
either do what we're telling you to do, or you're not going to get the SpaceX contract. Because I see when you ask that question here, my team saying their SpaceX contract somehow makes him angry. So,
Okay, thank you. Oh, and he just fired all his bigwigs with his SpaceX program,
mhm.
the main executives, because he's blaming them for the fall. The fall was because of him.
And I think there were Tesla executives that were just fired
Oh,
too.
Tesla. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think it was Tesla. Yeah, okay. Yeah, nothing like playing a blame game. All the stock tanked. We know why it tanked because
And
of
it's
what
still
Elon
tanking.
did.
Yeah,
But then, of course, you want to find somebody to blame it on.
that's who he is. He's like Trump that way.
Hmm.
Canadian here. I have a good feeling about Mark Carney and the deals he is making with other countries. Will this early success produce a better economy for Canada, and will it sway conservatives a little to be more positive in their outlook?
I do see. I get a positive intonation from Mark and what he's doing, and I do see that they're going to see like quarter to quarter like more increases in overall GDP for Canada. I
Right.
think they're like at 2.1 trillion right now, but I'm seeing the GDP going up in Canada, and everybody's saying, "Oh, this guy kind of knows what he's doing," and it kind of brings about the more conservative or GOP equivalent there in Canada. Yeah,
Wow, that's great. And Trump is just out to try to destroy Canada. He's really mad at them. But they're like, whatever.
yeah,
And the thing I like about it, it really brought Canadians together. That
it
because
did.
how
It
dare you? Yeah.
It did, yeah.
In Buga, Colombia, they claim to have captured an aerial spear. It is currently being studied at the University in Mexico City. They believe its ET origin. Is it?
100%. Yeah. And these spheres, there are thousands of them. There are thousands on Earth right now. Now, they only just found this one, I think March of this year or something, or April. But actually, there's even a lot of footage all around the world. These spheres, when they go to the ground, they're intelligent. They actually move around. They're surveillance spheres. Right. So, and I just got a cold chill when I said that. So
I
I'm supposed to
just
say
did too.
I'm supposed to say that. I'm supposed to say this. That means my team saying make sure you get the word out. They're surveillance spheres. They're highly intelligent. They're even. I remember seeing a video a couple of years ago. One somebody had one in their front yard, and when they talked to it, it moved around their property and said, "Come over here," and the sphere came over there, on the ground. So it's intelligent. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. How long will Benjamin Netanyahu stay in power?
For some reason, they're showing me a trajectory out through like towards the end of 2026. Maybe that's the next election cycle for Israel. I don't know if they do November 2026 or something,
Yeah.
but they're showing me out through the next election cycle. Then I see him kind of dusting off his hands saying, okay, I've kind of done what I need to do. And I'm also tired, so
Okay.
it feels like he's going to be in there up through like towards the end of next
He's
year. Yeah.
trying to get rid of his charges, and Trump is talking about you need to get rid of these charges, but I don't see them dropping.
Right. You talking about the ICC
Yeah.
charges? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
When my son was little, well, he asked for an extension. I guess he's supposed to have some hearing, and they said
Okay.
no.
Mhm.
When my son was little, he was napping in his crib. Suddenly he screamed in terror, green, green. When I ran in there, he said window. He is now 28 and still shaken up by this. He said a green thing stood over him and went out the window. Do spirits or entities come to us in different colors?
They do, but what I'm getting from my team is that was an elemental. So I wonder where they live. Now, elementals are very common in parts of Europe and even parts of Asia. I wonder where whoever this is, where they live. But that actually is an elemental. Grays don't do that in that way.
Yeah.
Your guides and angels don't do that. That's an elemental, but and benevolent. No harm. But the child must have been very young. Did you
Oh,
say?
yeah, that it's seared in
Yeah,
their brain.
yeah.
Senator Lisa Murkowski from Alaska is one of the 45's most vocal critics in the Senate. She recently said in a podcast that there were certain situations in which she would consider becoming an independent, caucusing with Democrats. And by the way, she's voting for the bill because they changed part of it so Alaska would get what they need, and to hell with everybody else. So
I
she
saw
said,
that this morning on the news, something regarding food stamps as well, and something else there.
yes, well, they're going to give them a bunch of money for food in Alaska. So
And there's some other tranche of money coming to Alaska. Yeah, right.
I don't see her becoming an independent. How about you?
No, I don't see her officially like changing party, but I do see her voting with the Democrats Independents. So I don't see her
Oh,
changing her
okay.
label, but I see her, yeah, more and more voting with the Democrats.
Well,
Yeah.
she's got everybody mad, that's for sure. Nixon didn't go to prison in Watergate, but his AG did. Will Bondi go to prison?
I do see it out in a few years. I do see it, but it's going to be maybe a rather short sentence. It's like 6 months or 8 months or 10 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
I
it's
see her
kind of
losing her law license.
I see that as part of the whole prison sentence thing going on there. But the prison sentence doesn't look like years. It looks like, let's say it's 10 months. It ends up being kind of a slap on the hand, but then you
Right.
lose your law license. Yeah. And then she'll write books, you know. Was it G. Gordon Liddy? Was the one of the ones that went to
Yeah.
prison for G. Gordon
Yeah.
Liddy, and he wrote a number of books. So I see books in her future, like 3 books too. Yeah.
What do you see coming up next week?
So a number of things. I do see like a really earnest effort towards peace talks around the Middle East. Everybody like scrambling behind the scenes, trying to figure out how does everybody save face, make it look like we're big and bad, but how do we save face? Because like bottom line, our economies can't afford a major, Middle East war. So I see a lot of that going on. Still Qatar playing a very important role. I would never discount what Qatar's doing. They seem to be able to navigate through every country and figure out what that country needs. So I would never discount them. I do see another ship sinking like around Ukraine or something. So something going on with a battle or a ship being hit.
Okay.
And they're also showing me an earthquake coming up like in Latin America this week, like a 6 or a 7 going on there.
Okay.
One last thing they just showed me, always surprising. It looks like a member of Congress near death or dies. Like,
Okay. I was
so
feeling death in the,
yeah, so I feel like
not
there's a
another
member of
Democrat, I hope.
no, it looks like a Republican to me. Yeah. And I don't want
You
to
know who I was feeling, I used to feel was going to go, and then he just kept living, but I feel McConnell's going to die before he gets out of
well
office.
that's the odds best choice. But for
Yeah.
some reason I'm not getting McConnell. It could be
Okay.
McConnell. It feels like it's somebody you don't expect. You go, wow, how did they drop dead? What happened? It feels like
Interesting.
unexpected. Yeah. So
Do your guides have anything to tell us?
last but not least, it's like they want a lot of spiritual entities are coming together on all sides of heaven and everything right now to try to stabilize Earth, right? So this is a very important time period for Earth. But the one thing I always keep getting to tell everybody, it's coming through again, use the analogy of being in a canoe or a boat. Everybody has to take out an oar and row the same direction. If you don't help or you row the opposite direction, you're not
Not gonna,
helping.
yeah.
So that has everything to do with like manifesting clearly. The message almost says, please, everybody, put an oar in the water and
And
row
go
the
the
same
same
direction.
direction.
Yeah.
And Trump's helping us.
Yeah, he is. He
All these
is.
things he's doing is hurting. Nebraska has already contacted him and said, we don't have any workers. They're scared. And they
Yeah.
said that China canceled soybean contracts. We're falling, you know. He doesn't really care about people.
No, and the fascinating thing is that he runs the whole White House like a syndicate, like a RICO, or it's a RICO
Yeah, you
organization. And
gotta, if they find anything on your phone that
right,
mentions him, yeah.
yeah. So,
Okay, well, thank you so much.
last but not least, people always ask how to contact me. So
Yeah,
we have a YouTube channel. If anybody's new to me or your channel, we have a YouTube channel, Sterling Psychic Medium, and we also have a membership where we do live streams on Fridays, answer all kinds of live questions, a platinum membership, and you can join on the front page of the YouTube channel or the website, sterlingpsychicmedium.com. There
I
you
got to
go.
be one of your first persons that asked you a question on your live. I was getting bloody noses.
I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you said you answered it. You said take vitamin K, was it?
It was, yeah. Remember, I'm just a telephone. I tell
Yeah,
people all the
and
time,
I
I'm
did.
not a
You said
doctor,
I don't. I just play a doctor on TV.
right?
Anyway, I said okay, and I tried it, and I never had another one.
Yeah, and they were pretty emphatic about that when you asked that question. And I felt bad for you because you had a problem ongoing for a number of
Oh, it's
days or
just back to
weeks.
back, and they were pretty strong. They weren't lightweight. They were.
Yeah, and they just
All
said
my
flat
life, I've
out,
never had a
tell her she needs to ramp up on vitamin K like now.
Okay,
So
that's what I did.
yeah, yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you
There you
so
go.
much. Is that your wonderful wife? I said hi.
I will. I will. And she loves you, sends all the love back. We both love
Yes.
you. And, thanks for everything you do. It's always good to get together.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the other side. Cheers.